Good afternoon. Hello, where am I? Hello, where am I? Why is my camera not working now? Why does nothing ever work? 1 second. Ah, there I am. I had to turn it off and on again. Excuse the attire, just got back from the gym. How are we all doing? Afternoon, Mark, Danny, FTNet, David. Afternoon, thank you very much for the $10. God bless Lee the Great Goat. The Great Goat. I like it. Thank you very much, David. Much appreciated. Thank you. Afternoon, Paul, Mimo. How are we all doing? Right. I'm really running late today because afternoon it's time. I've just been recording a video for this new dashboard. So I'm not prepared at all. So let's have a look at charts and stuff. Is everything? I don't even know if everything's in the right place. This is not in the right place. Mind you, that's a demo, so I don't need to worry about that. So my account I've been testing on. Right. So look at the markets open. Obviously, we've just had the news for CPI, which has come out as a big, well, not a big, it's an uptick basically for the US dollar. So yes, it's positive, but it's virtually what we were expecting. It's 0.1 out, which is good, but not dramatic. So we've had a whipsaw on the indices basically, which has just literally been that, a whipsaw. Go away, stop advertising your stupid pen. So yeah, indices basically, we've had a big whipsaw on the DAX straight down to 4R and back, the FTSE down to 2R and back. I had no trades on the FTSE today. The ranges were too tight at the open. The FTSE, yeah, the DAX got a hedge on. I was really tempted to take this hedge exit here. I didn't. Wish I had, but I didn't. My exit's down at the weekly, which has been reacted at multiple times. So that's where I'm actually interested in, but I didn't get there. So, so the NASDAQ and the DOW, hedged on the DOW, and the NASDAQ is a clean break long. So we'll see where these go today. I actually fancy a long on that NAS, to be honest. I'm going to take a quick long over on my on this account.
Order filled.
Turn the volume down a little bit. Yeah. So, God, hang on a minute. 1 sec. I'm all over the place today. How much do I need on this? $2,000. $2,000. How much exactly do I need? 2,000. Let's go 2,200 to be safe. If I can get that over the line today. That's actually 2 accounts because I've got one copying it as well. Right. So yeah, anyway. Afternoon, Brandon. So the indices are all over the place. Very big move down, obviously, on the US indices. Obviously, big moves up on the US dollar, create inverse on the indices. So indices are down. Dow looks like it wants to carry on going down. NASDAQ's trying to push back up again. So opening play really today. Let's see if we can do some of this gap. It may well just completely collapse down. So we'll just see what happens with it, basically. It will do one or the other. Yesterday was a good day on the indices again. Banked just under 1,000 yesterday, so up 13.8 over the last 7 days, basically. Really good week this week. Very profitable. Last couple of months, well, you can see all the last months have been profitable. Really very good at the moment. Lots of volatility on the indices at the minute, which is always good. But yeah, so CPI today obviously came out as a positive. Whether or not the US dollar is going to actually sustain that move, we'll have to wait and see. You can see obviously from the pound US here, we had a big move down. Everything has come down against the US dollar, but it's not that dramatic. It's a 0.1 differential. So I suspect it will probably undo the move, hence me having a quick long attempt on the indices this afternoon. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, could go either way, really, off the back of that. I get the feeling at the moment the markets are not really reacting very much to anything to do with news because we're only interested in Trump at the minute. So we will see. But afternoon, Michael. I don't know how to say your name. Is it Mikiel or Michael? Mikel? Looks like Michael, but it's not spelt like Michael. Or is it spelled like Michael? No, it's A-E-L, Michael. I don't know. Afternoon, anyway. Morning, even, wherever you are. Anchored in Dominica. Oh, very nice. What size boat you got? Powell testifying. It's Dutch, right? Okay. Powell is testifying this afternoon at 3 o'clock. So we had a fair bit of volatility yesterday. Powell made a lovely move. We'll listen to Michael as well. Good afternoon, Brendan. Cuppa and some biscuits. So yeah, we had a bit of movement yesterday on Powell. So expect the same again this afternoon. We've got Trump speaking at some point this afternoon as well. So, you know, at the minute, it's just going to do whatever the hell it likes, everything. Doesn't matter whether it's an index, what it is. It's just going to go nuts. So just be aware, obviously, there's going to be a lot of volatility coming in this afternoon with Powell speaking. So Powell yesterday managed to give the market a little bit of a move. So fair bit of volatility came in while he was talking. Nothing particularly dramatic was said yesterday, and I don't expect anything particularly dramatic to be said today. Normally it would come out in that day, but you never know. So be aware of that. We've got oil coming out, which is going to affect the US dollar and the Canadian dollar at 3:30 as well. And then we've got Waller speaking late this evening as well. So US dollar today could go all over the place or just sit where it is. We'll have to just wait and see what happens. Tomorrow, we've got New Zealand dollar inflation expectations coming through, which is going to upset the New Zealand overnight and probably the Aussie. We've got GDP for the pound in the morning, which isn't forecast to change. So we're not expecting volatility for that. And then tomorrow, we've got the CPI as well for the Swiss franc early morning. So this is all happening before I come on tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock if you're coming into the members stream. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that, basically. That could well upset the Swiss franc. The Swiss have not ruled out negative interest rates. They are coming down very, very, very quick. As you can see, the Swiss franc is now down to 0.5. They will, at a moment's notice, change the rate without telling anybody, and we get these massive moves on the Swissy. So if that inflation figure does come out as recessionary, which is a negative 0.1, then yeah, there's a potential basically for them to drop the interest rate. So if this comes out at lower than a negative 0.1, we could see quite a big fast drop in that Swiss franc. As you can see, we've had negative numbers constantly coming out. So we are expecting a negative, but the last two have been as expected. So if that comes out different to that, we will see a big move in the Swiss tomorrow. So be aware of that. That's tomorrow morning before I come onto the stream. And then we've got PPI. Overnight news, there's a fair bit of stuff going on at the moment with Gaza and Trump and everything, but there's nothing really been said overnight that's really moved the market. Traders looking for a rate change in December, not September now. I don't believe that's going to happen. I think we're going to have a change way before that, but we'll wait and see. The market, you can't forecast that far into the future with Trump on board. There's so many things that can happen. There you go. So interest rates should be lowered. Boing. Yeah, I missed this one today because I was videoing, but yeah, anything that Trump says that moves the market wildly, get on it because it will go back the other way. So yeah, interest rates should be lowered, and he's probably right. But with CPI going up now, the Fed is going to be very, very, very restrictive. They're not going to want to push back on interest rates at all. So it's going to be a bit of a battle between Trump and them, I think. So we'll see what happens. But other than that, overnight news, there wasn't really anything. Nothing came out of Bank of Japan last night that was any of interest. So yeah, there we go. So that's your news. Let's just quickly see where these indices have gone for the US. Nice move up on the NAS. What do I need? I need two, don't I? Well, I need a complete reversal, basically, on that entire move, which isn't going to happen. Might add one to the Dow. Let's have a quick look at where the Dow is. Wrong chart. So we're at the gap down open from Monday. So this is low of the week going in on the Dow now, which is 2-day low. So we've just broken that low on the Dow. Next area basically of interest is obviously previous week's low here. So we've got a double bottom low at 150 ADR. So for the hedge exit, that is where I would look to get out. That hedge exit, it looks like it's coming down pretty hard at the moment. So not going to bother with the Dow at the minute. Let's see if that NAS can just basically recoup those losses. Right, so I'm going to go through the usual stuff today. You're going to look at all the dashboards, see if there's any opportunities, ADRs, RSIs, go through the zones, get the VPS open. I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. So starting off with ADRs, there's only one today, and it's the yen. So there's been a lot of movement on the yen today. As you can see, we're 125 ADR on the Swiss yen. Why is everything not showing? Oh, God, it's because I've swapped charts, basically. There we go. I've swapped accounts, basically, so it's got a data load issue, but it's done now. Swiss yen, there we go. I was going to say, I thought there was a lot more movement today than that. Let me just reset that as well. So yeah, Swiss yen, ADR 125, Euro odd, miles off the top, Euro New Zealand off the top. Yeah, so there's tons and tons of movement today, all over the place, basically. So just every single one of these is basically an ADR reversal opportunity, as you can see. So there's lots and lots and lots of movement all over the place today. A lot of yen movement, and a lot of these yens basically are mean reversion opportunities, but costs for shorting against the yen are incredibly expensive. So for these, if you're looking for sort of 5-minute reversal alert type plays, yeah, great. Get in now, stop above the high, pull it back down into here somewhere. But if you're looking to get in long-term swings and positions, shorting anything against the yen at the moment is too expensive for me anyway. So I wouldn't want to really be getting into anything that might go like this. We'll have to wait and see what the market makes of this US dollar CPI number. At the moment, obviously, it's bullish, but it's only 0.1. We were kind of expecting or thinking it may happen anyway. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. But there's loads of opportunities all over the place. Like Euro odd is a lovely opportunity now. 5-minute reverse alert. Oh, it's miles away. Right now is your M pattern. However, the reverse alert's all the way down there because we've had nothing but buying all the way up that move. So that is the last batch of sellers before the high was created. However, we did push down, retest and drop. So there is an entry short there at 125 ADR. It's not a reversal alert, but close. 15-minute you're not going to get on either. Euro New Zealand, obviously, very, very, very extended as well. 125 ADR. Again, I don't think you're going to get a reversal on that. No, these are all, this is pushed far too hard on the CPI news. But, you know, that is really an effective reversal alert as well. It's just not how this indicator indicates market structure shifts. So 120, 150 ADR on that one. So probably the best opportunity at the moment is Euro New Zealand. RSIs, we've got quite a few hourly extensions. However, for me, I'm not going to be taking them because they're yens. The only one that isn't is Euro odd. We've got Euro yen there. We've got Pound New Zealand as well, and US dollar New Zealand. Pound New Zealand's too expensive for me to trade. So the only opportunity I've got there is the Euro odd on RSI. and it's going to be tricky to get into that. But I might get an entry on that today. Euro odd as a short. Actually, I'm already in it. Well, I'm already in it on the Zone Trader account, but from the other accounts perspective, from an RSI extension, there's a good short opportunity there. Definitely like Euro short, but remember I said, this thing's been coming down for ages. We looked at taking longs on this down here. It's too expensive really for me to take, but there's your pullback that we were looking at potentially getting on. So there's an opportunity there to add into a short or get out of your longs if you want to, because there's a good chance the euro is going to continue on the downward slope. But those are your RSIs today. RSIs are absolutely dead at the moment. If you look at the RSI mean reversion account, I've got this one trade on at the minute on the pound odd. There's nothing else on. I haven't got anything else on. Nothing else has got extended long enough on the hourly RSI to actually get any entries. It's absolutely dead at the minute. So nice to see some movement coming in that we can actually get into some reversals on. So I'm already obviously long on this one, but hopefully we might get some more signals on that account. So let me just quickly check what's going on with that. Oh, that's nice. I've already banked 400 and I've got 1500 open. Lovely. This is a trend pullback strategy we've been working on, which is in forward testing at the moment. So, oh, lovely. This is the beauty of news. Nice big profit going in on that US dollar yen. Right. So we look at the zones. I've only closed out one trade today, which was, I posted it and I can't remember what it was. US dollar Swiss. So there's your exit on the US dollar Swiss, 0.78%. So is that entry there. I got out here. I shouldn't have got out because it's going the right way, but I was concerned basically because I saw this turning down. I haven't banked much this week. So I wanted to get some money in the bank, basically, and I had an opportunity. The market was starting to turn, so I decided just to take that one off and get something banked, basically. But I suspect we're probably going to come up and retest these highs. So at the moment, we are kind of contracting on this, potentially. So I just wanted to get that in the bank. But that's all I've banked, really, on that one today. I've got an opportunity to bank the pound US dollar. That's in nice profit. New Zealand dollar, US dollars in profit as well. So there's a few opportunities to bank, but I'm just going to let those play out. So I'm going to go through the zones and have a look at each pair and just see where the opportunities are if we need to adjust any zones. Starting off with the Aussie CAD. Let me just quickly check my... Got $1,000. I'm just going to lock that in so it's no risk. Okay, the Dow's going now. So I'm going long on the Dow as well. Just to see if I can get the Dow and the NAS reversing together. That's just going to get me my target much quicker. I only need 1200 to pass this, get this into converted to an XFA. So if we can get a rally on the Dow today, I should hit it within the next sort of 10, 20 minutes. If we continue to rally, obviously. Which now the Dow is just going to go into an accumulation down here, isn't it? And just really annoy me. But anyway, we'll wait and see. So as you can see on the Dow, we're rejecting the previous lows. That's what I was kind of looking for, a rejection of the Monday low. So this is a low of the week rejection, basically. And obviously we've got a propulsion gap caused by the news, which... a lot of the time at the moment they are filling. So I'm basically looking for this to hold. Let me just quickly adjust that on my... I've got the Dow open, am I? So it's there, isn't it? Yeah, my stops... I can't really put my stop down there. It's too far. $760 to hold that low. So I'll go with that. Literally hardly need anything to get this over the line today. So cross fingers. Right, let's look at the zones. So Aussie dollar CAD, just about to get out of the shorts. So short entry went in there. This is my target for rejection. I'm just actually going to close that right now. Take that off, Aussie CAD. And they're going to flip long. So looking for a push up into those highs. So that will take a long automatically for me in a second. The reason I'm taking that off now is because it's going to get me out anyway on this candle, because we've only got 8 minutes left. So it's going to trigger an exit anyway. So it's just going to flip me in long straight away. So in long, out of support. So it's this area here. This area of accumulation, basically, which we retested and ran from. They bought that multiple times. Keep buying it. We're back here. We're buying it again. So going to buy it here and obviously scale in on the way down into here if it decides to go south, which means that the US dollar's got to rally. We've got oil coming out at 330, which is going to move the Canadian as well. So there's plenty of opportunity for a quick move, depending on what happens with the oil price this afternoon. Aussie dollar Swiss. I'm looking for an entry long. Zone from yesterday, still intact. Zone from Monday, probably still intact if you were here on Monday. So looking for a long opportunity on that. Aussie New Zealand have 3 shorts on now. Zones in play at the highs. So this is the high of last November, basically. So I'm looking for a retest of that level for 4th short. Exit at the moment I have down here. As I've got 3 on, I think what I might do is just move my target up ever so slightly to here, just in case we get a 50% retracement on that leg and we go off and test those highs. So if we pull back into here, I'll get out of that. Yeah, and then I'll look for another opportunity to get in short at a later date. But not sure where that's going at the moment. Trouble with Aussie New Zealand is they're both commodity pairs. When you've got lots of movement in commodities, it's very difficult to sort of figure out where this one's going because they both move. So it tends to be the Aussie which tends to win most of the time. So as you can see, it's rallying away quite strongly now. So that's basically the plan on that one. Aussie US have a long on at the moment. Got out the shorts earlier on, and yeah, waiting basically for this to go somewhere. So all that's happened is it's pushed up ever so slightly, didn't quite get to my target, and the news has taken it back down. So next entry, I'm looking at this V-shaped move was the Trump announcement and the gap. So this is where the market was previously, which is where they were buying it before. So I'm waiting for them to get back here to rebuy and ignore the V-shaped Trump. CAD Swiss looking for longs, just looking for that support area. Not going anywhere yet. Euro odd shorts on. So Euro odd yesterday I decided, or rather Monday or whenever it was, I decided just to stick a fib on this because I was trying to get in short and I couldn't find any logical area to take a short from. So there was only this here recently, which was an area we bought from. When we got back to it, the market just totally ignored it and just went straight through it. So not really a level. So I didn't want to pick that as a level. So I decided just to stick a fib on it and go somewhere between 38 to 61, get me in. So I'm in. So shorts on that, looking for second entry short. Again, it's really hard, almost impossible to pick anything on this. There is no support and resistance. It's just literally a parabolic market structure trend. So you can't really pick an obvious level. For me, it's got to be here, somewhere around where we were finding resistance previously. Yeah, we came down, put in a higher low and slammed through it to make a new higher high, and then they rebought that level. Yeah, and then that level failed and they sold it again. So this is where they're buying and they're selling from. So it's a long way away. But I don't know what else to do with it, really, because it's really impossible to read any price action in it. So if we come back down and retest the origin of this move, which is here, Let me zoom in so you can see it. So basically we had this reversal here, new high, low, yeah, so higher low, higher high, higher low, off we go. So this is where that move started from. This is where they basically everybody that was selling in this area got run over and started flipping long. So that's where they're buying from. So if we get back down into there, I'm going to assume that the buyers are still going to be there, so I'll exit the shorts. It may well just come straight out and we're just going to do that and it's going to collapse out the bottom, but I'm not that brave. Euro CAD. So got shorts on at the moment, looking for a move back down into these lows. We've got this massive propulsion gap and these little ones here. So I'm targeting this area here, which is where we were selling. And then we got beaten up and they started buying it. Then they smashed through it again, started selling it again. So this is basically the battleground, which is the bottom of this propulsion gap. So as we get back up to there, I'll add on that propulsion because they should add more size into that one. If market structure is going to go short, we're looking for a pullback and where the sellers are going to be sitting, which is in there. So that's short. If it comes down and retests the January lows, then I'll get out at the lows. Let me just quickly check on that trade. It's not going anywhere, the Dow. Just going to take that grand basically. Dow's not doing a lot. So many times I see 50% retracements on propulsion gaps, and that's it. That's all it manages to do. 50%. Haven't worked out the exact logic, but if you look at the current where we are on the NASDAQ, we've slammed through that area. Anybody that was long here has flipped short here. Possibility that it's just going to continue to drop from there. So I'm just going to take that grand off and just see what happens. It's very bearish, obviously. I just don't really want to risk losing a grand, basically, but equally no idea which way to go. So I'll come back to that in a bit. Euro Swiss, I am looking for longs. That was my target to the upside if I could have got on long, which I couldn't. So I'm out if I had got on long, but I didn't. So yeah, still looking for longs on this. So going to move Swiss franc tomorrow. We've got news, so I'm going to move up into this area here. US dollar yen is still pushing. So there's an RSI reversal alert. We've also got Euro New Zealand. So there's a lot of RSI extensions in. So I'm definitely going to get onto something new today, finally. So there's a load of RSI extensions going in. This US dollar is still pushing. So looking at indices dropping. Going to take a quick short on the NAS out of that resistance. Dow's holding. So quick 500 risk just to see if I can get a 2-to-1 on this, because that's literally all I need to get over the line. Well, I needed to come and retest the lows, basically. So I have a quick crack at a short on that. I'm going to close out that NASDAQ because it's £260. I've got 228 hedge on the Dow. So I'm just going to leave the Dow open, but basically what I've just done is guaranteed a profit on the afternoon session, or rather not a loss on the afternoon session. I'm not convinced this is going to get back up into here. It might do, but I prefer a short. obviously with what's happening with the US dollar at the moment. So I'm going to leave that on, but as it stands at the moment, that pays for that. And then I've just got to deal with the DAX, which is basically back inside the opening range. Can't do anything with it today. So it looks like it's going to be a lost day today, which would be unfortunate because that's had a nice 3-day run, 2-day run. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I've just put in a trailing stop on this at 25 points, basically, just so I don't have to worry about it. It's just going to reduce risk as we go. Right. Euro Swiss. So yeah, Euro Swiss moving up into this area here, basically. So we had the gap down, obviously, pushed up. If the news tomorrow with the Swiss franc drives this down, I'm going to look for buyers. I mean, we screamed straight through that high. So anybody that basically was short here would have flipped long there, probably added there. So somewhere in here, we're going to find some buyers. So I'm just going to try and get in along on that. I can't get into any of these Swissies at the moment because they're just not going anywhere with any structure. So Euro pound have a short on at the moment, hasn't gone anywhere. So next short is up at the highs of last week, exit at the lows of last week. Euro New Zealand got a second short on that. Let's take that fib off now because I was looking for an entry. So need a new short, obviously at the highs, somewhere up at those highs, and exit. So we got the market structure shift here. From this area here, we broke the high, put in a ever so slightly higher low, but kind of a double bottom. Then we broke back up again. We rebought in the middle of it as well, made a new high, higher low, off we go. So basically looking for this area here, if we manage to retest that to the downside as potentially where they might buy, because we might form a new range and use this as the range low. So yeah, shorts on. Next entry, it's come off of this level here, but I'm looking up here for next entry short. Euro US dollar, shorts on at the moment. So exit last week's low, second entry short, last week's high. Nothing's changed. Longs on pound odd. This area down here, can't quite see. This area down here basically is the recent low. We came out of this propulsion. There's a little propulsion gap here. We came out of that. So I'm looking basically to come and retest this area here where we really broke down as the exit. That's my initial position. So I've got 3 on it. So I'm looking to get out where I first got in. And if this is going to be a market structure continuation short, which it is at the moment bearish market structure, then I'm looking for a lower high to go in. If it's not, and this is bullish market structure, because we put in a higher low, then it's going to fly off up there somewhere. It doesn't matter which it does. I will either get out, you know, whichever it does, basically. Pound CAD. I thought the FTSE might bounce back up 50% from the CPI low. Instead, it's almost a full reversal. Yeah. European markets and US news are very hit and miss. So, but yeah, completely back up. The news has changed now. Now Trump's in, the news doesn't have the same impact it used to. Don't forget, we're also in earnings fortnight as well. So there's a lot of US stock earnings out at the minute, which will drive a lot of UK and European markets, because European and UK markets supply industry in the US as well. So if you get good earnings on Tesla, for example, and a company in the UK manufactures electronics for Tesla, their stock price is going to adjust with what's going on in the US as well. So it's a massively volatile time. You can never predict really much what's going on with anything in earnings. But yeah, complete recovery on both, unfortunately. When we were down here, I was watching the news, obviously. When we were down here, I saw this rejection and I was hovering over the close button, basically, to get out of these shorts. And I thought, this could be it. But so many times in the past, I have been burnt going, oh, this has got to go back. And what it does is exactly what the Dow's done today, which is sit sideways and then collapse. Yeah. So I didn't do it. I should have done it on the DAX. But this is trading, isn't it? Every single time you see something move, you literally have a 50-50 probability of it doing what you want or not. I'm sure at the moment on the NASDAQ, it's either going to go up or it's going to go down. My job is to apply risk to binary directional movement. That's it. That's the job. So one of those two things is always going to happen, isn't it? So this is either doing one of two things now. We have put in the low of the session. We're putting in a high. We're putting in a higher low. And we're going to come and fill this gap. Or this news is so strong, it could only pull back 50% and it's going to break today's low. One of those two things is going to happen. I can guarantee it with 100% accuracy because it has to go up or down. It doesn't do anything else. Your job is just basically to wrap risk around the directional bias that you have. And that is a 50-50 coin flip. So every day you've got this decision to make. That's the only decision you have to make. Is it going long? Is it going short? Nobody on the planet can tell you. This is why this job is so much fun. Isn't it? I keep convincing myself that every day. I have for the last 15 years. I'm really good at convincing myself stuff. Right, pound CAD longs at the moment. This area down here. Doesn't matter where I put my head, it's always in the wrong spot. This area down here, was the end of that down cycle when we had some news that screamed through it. We came back up, retested it, and then we bought it again at that level. So we knew there was buyers there. They just got beaten down. This was a price discovery failure. We came back up into balance and shot all the way back up again. So this is where I'm looking to add the next buy. The sell, we've got this whacking great propulsion gap here, which basically I'm looking to get out as my exit. So there's my exit area to the upside. We've obviously got this little propulsion gap here, so I'm kind of encompassing that as well in case we just do kind of a 50% retracement leg-ish on the way back up before we come down again. One of those is going to happen. Pound Swiss, I'm waiting for Hogue to announce that he's closed my orders for me, and he's not, which is annoying because that means I've hit target. Come on, Hogue, help me out. I need 800. Pound Swiss, looking for longs, can't get in at the moment. Just can't get into this at the minute. So, I don't really like the fact that it's coming off those highs at the minute. So we're in a very, very, very obvious range here. So we've got this initial high, and then we've got a secondary high. We've got this low. So that's your range. We're up at the range high. The last thing you do is buy at the high. So I don't really want to get into it, to be honest. It's positive swap though, so I do want to get into it because it's good. I like having positive swaps on. So yeah, I'm just going to target there and see if basically we can retest this initial propulsion move here. So looking for a retest. So it's either going to come down. If we are going to break out this range high finally, we are either going to retest this area here and go, or we're going to come back and retest the origin of that move and they're going to rebuy it. If it's not going to hold, then we're going back down to those range lows, which means that I'm in at the very, very worst possible spot. Right, basically, as it starts to come down. But we've got news on the Swissy tomorrow. So I'm expecting the Swiss franc to weaken tomorrow. because it's, even if it doesn't get a number lower than forecast, it's still going to get a negative number, which is bad. So weakness in this is why I've been trying to get into some Swiss, but I can't get in. So if we can get down to here by the news tomorrow morning, I will get in on the Swissy. It'll obviously come out with positive news because I've gone long. But anyway, short on the pound US dollar. I had an exit on this at about $200 today. I didn't take it because I was waiting to see what happens with the news. I banked the other US pair. So this is in profit at the moment with that US dollar strength. I'm looking for an exit at last week's low. If we push up again, I'm looking for them to break last week's high and come up into these peaks here and sell that area there. So we'll see what happens, but it's just, you know, it's not doing anything at the minute. We're not really going anywhere. New Zealand dollar CAD, second long on, so I need a new long, easy lows. So looking basically for that area there for a third long. I'm going to move my target down in case we are not going to put in a lower high, higher low. So this is your low, there's your high. If we're going to continue market structure long from here, it's going to do that, which means this is the low because it cannot break that low because that means it's bearish market structure. So that will be my last point, double bottom for another long position. Exit, I'm going to move up into this area here. So area we were selling at, we had another go at selling, went into balance. We tried price discovery to the upside, failed. We tried a second price discovery up to the upside, failed. Sellers re-added to their positions. This is where the sellers are. If we can get there, I'm out. Yeah. So we'll see if they can break those lows, but I'll be getting in again there and I'll be getting out up there. New Zealand Swiss range, looking for longs, nearly there. So this area is where we've been buying. Yeah, so I'm looking for somewhere around here to find some buyers. Knowing my luck, they're just going to hold the week's low and just go straight up without me. But they do, they do. New Zealand US, shorts on, that's in profit. Next short entry, 2-week high. Exit is down at these lows somewhere. US dollar CAD, longs on at the moment. Stuck in this, can't do anything with it. As you can see, it's just Trump and nothing at the minute. We got oil this afternoon. In fact, we got oil in 15 minutes. Okay, so I'm break even on the trade now, so I can't lose. I just want it to move another $500 basically. What am I up? 640. 2's enough. Okay. So yeah, basically just need to break the low without getting stopped out, ideally. So yeah, US dollar. Hopefully this CPI number is enough to give it a bit of a kickstart, but we are basing out all over the place on this. It's just not going anywhere. So we've got this whacking great propulsion gap here, which is what I'm targeting. So the previous highs before Trump screwed Canada and then unscrewed Canada, which basically means none of this price action is real. This is where we were holding the previous highs here. And this is where we re-added into those shorts that we were selling here, 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 and again here. This propulsion move here is the higher the range. So that's where my target to the upside is at the minute. Ignoring Trump, I'm looking for them to come back up and retest this area. If we get good news on the US and everything, yes, it's probably going to come up. Whether they honor that or not, I don't really know. But it's, you know, this is currently where the market is holding the US CAD. As you can see, it's just not going above that level. So that's where I want out of my longs. If we break these lows, I need a new position on. There's no real support. There's this little area here, which is an accumulation that is bang on my next buy. So I can't take that. So this area here is the next logical area to the downside where we started a move. We've never retested it. So that's my next entry long. We'll see where we go. But whether the US is strong or weak, nobody knows because Trump changes his mind on what he's doing every 5 minutes. Now he's decided to take over an entire country and turn it into a golf resort. So there you go. Good luck, Gaza. What that's going to do to world economics, I have no idea. But anyway, so looking for longs on US dollar Swiss. This is the one I got at guide. That is probably a stop out. Yes. Oh well. So potentially this totally stuck. Look. Potentially a new bull move going long. But this is a large sell order here. One of those two things is going to happen. So if we're going to hold this propulsion gap, and this is market structure short, I won't expect them to break through that level. If they break through that level, then I'm going to try and get a long on back up to the fill. But if this propulsion gap here holds, I'm going to trigger a new short and assume that we're going to break those lows and go for a run on the low. And hopefully, I don't think it's going to be quite enough, but if we break those lows, then that'll be me done for the day. Tricky this afternoon. It's always tricky afternoons. US dollar Swiss out the longs. So looking to get in long again. This is where we broke. So I'm looking for a retest of this area, basically. So on the way up to here. But it may well just go straight up to there. I'm not taking shorts. It's too expensive. So if I don't manage to get on down here, if we don't get any weakness in the US, then I'll just have to move the zone up and try another level. Yens I'm not trading, and New Zealand I'm not trading either. Pound New Zealand I'm not trading. So pound US I can close out. So this is the new dashboard, which I've just done the video about today, which basically is a new trade management dashboard. It will be out this evening properly on MT4, and then I've got to do the MT5 version. But basically, it highlights where your strengths and weaknesses are in your portfolio, basically. So I can see at the moment the pound US dollar, obviously I can see I can close out for a nice profit. I can close out the New Zealand dollar, US dollar for a nice profit. Everything else is kind of just flip-flopping around. These are trades that are in fairly decent profit. They highlight when you've got a set percentage on your account. So I've set it to 0.25%, then 0.5% you get a different color. So let's see if that can push up and it will change color. That'd be nice. Go on, a little bit more. Not going to do it, is it? Because I want it to do it, it's not going to do it. Okay, 0.5. So as soon as that gets over 0.5, it will go, hey, you want to seriously consider me? So it will change to a darker green. But it allows you to highlight and identify areas where you can do drawdown control and bank profit. So I've banked 0.88 today. I can bank another 0.49 there, and these are the ones which are getting into drawdown. So these are over 0.25% in drawdown, and obviously the color changes dependent on how much in drawdown they are. So it's showing me that I can close that out completely, and then I could close out 50% of that to get rid of that orange, so reduce my drawdown. You've also got this drawdown control button here, which is the D. If you click that, it should show you, there you go, any trades that basically are going to also improve your average price. So obviously when you've got multiple trades on, if we've got 3 trades short on, for example, and my average price is here or something, if you close trades out above or below the line, it will have an impact on your average price. So when you're going short on something, if you've got like a, actually just look at a trade, it'd be obvious, easier to do, wouldn't it? That's what's in drawdown, this one, pound odd. So there's my average price there. I'm long. So this trade here, if I close out half of that trade, my average price will drop, meaning that it's closer to the current price. So this is advantageous to cut this. If I cut some off of this one, the average price will go further away. Yes, I will bank profit, but it's making my position overall worse. So the idea is you want to keep your average price as close to the entry price as you possibly can. So what this is telling me is this trade here, and this trade here, and this trade here, if I close out a percentage of those, it will improve my overall portfolio by bringing the average price of this symbol closer to the current price, which is the average price there. Equally with these are also above the line. So if I close these out, it improves my average price on these. But there's no point in improving my average price on these because none of these are actually in any drawdown to worry about. They're just trades that are open waiting to become profitable. These ones are in a little bit more drawdown. So if I am going to do drawdown control with all of this profit, these are the ones that I'm going to get rid of. So it's a much better visual tool for managing your portfolio. And obviously you can select what data you want to show. If you only want to, all the columns are turned on and offable. Haven't done the manual on it yet, and it also shows you current exposure as well. So if you've got news coming up, and let's say tomorrow morning we've got the New Zealand expectations, inflation expectations. How exposed am I on the New Zealand? 0.76. Okay, so if I was worried about having 0.76 on, which I'm not because it's not a lot of exposure, but if I was, I could say, right, let's have a look at all the New Zealand pairs. Anything I can bank? Nothing I can bank there. Nothing I can bank there. New Zealand dollar CAD, nothing I can bank there. New Zealand dollar US dollar. So I could bank that. So if I wanted to, I could reduce my exposure from 0.76 down to 0.66 because that's got 10 lots on it, 0.1 lots rather, to reduce my drawdown. So it allows you to see where your exposure lies ahead of big news events like news, because obviously that is where people get hurt a lot. So yeah, but I'm not going to do any of that at the minute because I'm happy with it all. Okay, so we're going to do the gap fill. Do I want to jump on it here? Oh, wrong one. Okay, so tempted just to hit the button now, but I'd rather wait for a pullback if it's going to. New TMD seen on MQL5. Good times. It's not out yet, Mumo. How's the new OLB going? Yeah, good. Well, it's had a couple of bad days. And today is a bad day as well. So it's one of those strategies. You have these big days that go in, which make all the money. Because when you get a clean break followed by a clean break, you make a load of cash. But when you get whippy days, it just hemorrhages small amounts of cash. Yeah. So, it does this. It just doesn't make money for days on end, and then it kills it. It's a stop loss based strategy. Get stopped out all the time. But yeah. Update on the new Dash. So the new Dash will be available this evening. It's on a special price at the moment for members only. Sorry. Tomorrow, this evening, I'm going to put a video out and put a link out. I had to do some bug fixing, so the members have been testing it for me, and they found 3. Only 3 though, which is not bad. And actually, technically, one of them isn't a bug. 2 of them were spelling mistakes, and one of them was an exposure problem. But it's not me; it's the broker, because brokers, for some reason, decide to put dots and obliques and letters after currency pairs. Absolutely no reason you should do that, but they do, and it screws up lots of calculations. But anyway, so this DOW, got along on the DOW, which is on the 15-minute ORB. So if that hits target, that'll all be back in profit today. It only takes one trade. That's the whole purpose of this, using a 4R. If you're using a 3R or a 4R, every fourth trade that is profitable wipes out all loss. So with the stock indices, the only way you really lose a load of money is if the market goes into rotation for multiple days on end, and then it just will hemorrhage cash. Or you get contraction at the open, because this particular strategy relies on volume at the open. If it doesn't get the volume at the open, it doesn't give any signals. So when you have low volume opens, which we've had for a couple of days, don't get as many trades. So but the long-term edge is there. Stopped out on that one. There you go. So there's a 15% loss. This is using a big risk as well. So I'm forward testing this just to see what functionality is like, and to make sure that it does what I'm expecting it to do. But I'm using stupid risk to see if I can double an account, which I got up to 80. I think I got up to 80 something percent, and now it's gone down a bit. But okay, pulling back a little bit. So I'm going to try and get a new long on. Again, Nasdaq's just reacted at resistance. But the question is, are we going to do that propulsion gap fill or not? So the Dow is just not moving. Dead in the water. That just stuck there, just not going anywhere. So this is a new propulsion gap formed on that long. So we made that new high using that area there. So this is where I'm looking to buy. If we are going to do the gap fill, this is where the buyers are going to add into this position here. And then I'll add more there to try and get there and get that over the line, that account. I use IG and have to use the dollar suffix to work on your other products. Will this apply to the new dashboard? Yeah, the new dash is all, it will handle all of that. Doesn't matter about prefix and suffix. It's all, it handles all of those and removes them. It's only for exposure. So the exposure area here, that wasn't showing for some people that had prefix and suffix, because the way this works is it basically looks for Forex pairs. So there's a list of Forex pairs which it uses, which are obviously those, and I've also put the exotics in there now as well. But obviously if your broker has got USD CAD.P, it can't find it, because it's USD and it's CAD.P. So it goes, well, that's not a Forex pair. So I put logic in this morning to basically remove everything, and it only concentrates on those 3 letters. And if it finds those 3 letters in a row, it splits it up as a Forex pair and then makes your exposure block. So it's fixed. So it doesn't matter what the suffix is or the prefix, that will work. This doesn't matter. It doesn't care. This will show your actual symbol, because this is nothing to do with that. Well, it is to do with that, but anyway, I'm not going to explain the intricacies of programming. You don't need to know. It just works. But anything will work on here. So obviously indices, everything, doesn't matter what you're using. Yeah, I'm trading the DAX and the DOW. It's all here. It's all working fine. Doesn't matter what you trade. But I mean, obviously, the dashboard is designed for swing traders and position traders. That's the purpose of it. So it's designed as a portfolio management tool. If you just want to see trades, there's the Trade Manager dashboard, which shows all that information already anyway. Just looked at the copy effects. Seems like RSI is not taking in any trades. Hasn't had any signals. Haven't had any trades on it. So we should have some today, though. So yeah, pound odds on, but we should get some on today, hopefully. So Euro New Zealand, that'll be taking short if the signal works. Obviously, for me to get short on this, I need candle to close below the moving average and the RSI to be extended. If that is down at 69 when that moving average crosses, it's not a signal. It won't take a trade. That's not the strategy. No other extensions at the moment. Yen, so Euro odd is extended. Wrong account. $69.4 the RSI is on that. Yes, 69.4. No signal. You can't get in. Look. So I mean, it's not extended now. So if that had pushed up another hour, I'd probably get in that today, but it's not strong enough. So this is the trouble at the moment. We're not getting enough movement to get enough extensions. So it's just really not. It's not taking any trades because it's broken. It's not taking any trades because there's nothing getting extended. Not strong enough and long enough to hold. This is the trouble. Obviously, I'm not trading yen pairs, so you can ignore that one. You can ignore that one. You can ignore that one. Ignore that one. Ignore that one. It's too expensive to trade in both directions. US dollar yen, you can ignore that one. So the only extensions we've got that are tradable are the New Zealand dollar, US dollar, which is not a signal. Hasn't even signaled. Look, there's your moving average. We have never crossed a moving average. Now we're back up, so no signal. New Zealand dollar CAD. Already long. Oh, no, that's in the other account. So New Zealand dollar CAD, no signal. Euro New Zealand. If that continues to push, that will signal short. Where's Euro New Zealand gone? But yeah, and so that one, that is the only possibility at the moment. Euro New Zealand for a short, and then Euro odd and odd CAD. Euro odd is still pushing. Odd CAD, so it might get into the Euro odd as well. Odd CAD, no signal. Again, it's these moves. What the reason I use this time frame at the moment for RSI is because we're getting a lot of this choppy price action, and it's the argument is, yeah, go down to 15-minute and take 15-minute reversals and you will get into a lot more of these positions. But what this strategy that I've tested and I'm using, and I have been using for a couple of months now, runs only on the hourly time frame using the hourly RSI, so it's not a multi-time frame strategy. So anything that is a big, strong news event that causes an RSI extension, it filters those out because most of those are just going to be mean reversions. Yeah, so it's kind of a way of filtering news out, if you like. I want something to have pushed hard in one direction constantly and then finish with a big, strong push so that we get that reversal. I want the elastic band stretched. This is not an elastic band stretched. This is 24 hours of ADR price action. If you want to trade this, ADR reversals. Yeah, this is not extended price action. So the hourly strategy needs longer term movement, which means we've got more chance of that long-term profit take happening. So it's a completely different strategy. This is why it's not taking any trades, because, you know, it's only got into one which is in profit, because we're just not getting that at the moment. What we're getting at the moment is a lot of this and a lot of that, which is great for ADR reversals or for trading support resistance zones, because it's just bouncing around all over the place. But it's not going anywhere. I want it to go somewhere and then get in on the mean reversions. Why have I not signaled an order? Here we go. So not the Dow's broken long. So I'll have a crack on the Dow. So we have broken that range. Buyers back in control. Question is, how far can we get into there before they get hit? Long the NASDAQ as well. Oh, nice pop. Nice pop. 3:30. Oil price just come out. This could be costly. Bit of trail, just to reduce risk on these because it's news. So we could get some volatility coming off the back of oil, which means I just want to try and reduce the risk because I've got $1,000 on it, which is basically a day's profit. So see what happens. Aussie CAD, yeah. Of the two strategies in your copy FX, which one would you recommend? The one that makes the most money. Is my copy account run by one of the EAs? Yeah, these two. So this is the copy account for the position trader, RSI mean reversion. This is the copy account for the zone trader, run by the zone trader EA. Well, run by me, putting zones on. So same thing. What's your analysis on euro US dollar short and long term? It'll go up when the US dollar is weak, and it will go down when the US dollar is strong. And the US dollar will get weak and strong based on what Trump says every day. That's my analysis, and that's all you're ever going to get. Long term, short. Short term, flip a coin. Nobody in the world knows where it's going short term because it's based on the balance of buy and sell orders in central banks. So you tell me, how many orders has Barclays, Citibank, and HSBC got on their desk today for long and short? Add them all together. Whatever you come out with as a net or a positive or a negative, that's the way it's going today. That's your short-term analysis. Don't let anybody tell you they know anything different, because the banks make it move up and down. Nothing else does. Experimenting with SIH, is there a way to trick it to take the largest possible range in a defined time range? The largest possible range, no. It doesn't know. It doesn't work that way at all. No. Short answer, no. For that copy trader, do you have to use the same broker? Yeah, it's Forex. I'm just experimenting at the moment, David. I've got accounts with Forex Global Prime, and I'm just experimenting with basically a copy service of some description, but I don't really want to become a signal service. But I also don't want to use signals on MQL5 and things like that, because you have to pay for them. I'd rather set something up that people can copy. And if I make money, you pay me. You pay me 10% of the profit you make. That's it. That's the type of service I think people should be doing, not signal services. Not liking this at all. They don't allow US citizens. No. Oops, sorry. No, they don't. I'm a position trader, David. You can't do position trading in the US because you can't get leverage, unfortunately. So if you can find a broker that you can use overseas that will give you leverage that you can position trade on, I'm all ears. But unfortunately, US people cannot position trade because you can't get the leverage. But you know, for the last 5 years plus, I've done nothing but make money position trading, apart from indices, obviously. But indices is discretion, so I'm not going to have people copying my discretion. But position trading, yeah, unfortunately, you've got to have the leverage for it. So you need a minimum 1 to 200 leverage, possibly 1 to 100. But it doesn't matter whether you want 1 to 100, 1 to 200, 1 to 500, or 1 to 1,000. If you're in the US, you can't have more than 1 to 30. That's it. But if you can find someone overseas that will give it to you, do it. That's what I do. I don't use any brokers in the UK. None of them will give me any leverage, so I don't use them. I've always used overseas brokers. Everybody's scared of using overseas brokers. I don't know why, because they're all regulated. They're just not regulated by your regulator. They are still regulated, though. They still get slapped on the wrist if they do things wrong, and they don't. And there's a lot of massive brokers. Forex have been established over 15 years now, something like that. Yeah, they're not a small company. They're not based in the UK. They're based on an island somewhere offshore. But it doesn't matter. They're a big multinational organization. They don't have to be in your country, but they do have to take you as a client. And Forex. So if you look up Robo Markets, for example, Robo Markets will not accept me. If I try and sign up with them, they'll say, nope, sorry, you can't. But go to Robo Forex, they'll take you. So basically all these companies, all these brokerages, if you phone them up and say, look, I really, really want to be with you. I can't because your website won't let me on. They'll go, okay. And they'll start talking to you. And at the end of the day, they are desperate for clients. So talk to them. You will not have negative balance protection in some of them. Some of them you won't have other protection, but you've got to find one that is also established as well. There's a lot of cowboys out there. So be careful, but you've got to just do due diligence on brokers, unfortunately. But if you want to swing trade, position trade any kind of portfolio, medium to long term, you're stuffed. You can't do it in the US. And this is why everybody in the US is so obsessed with prop firms, because they want to be scalping 5-minute timeframes. But 5-minute timeframes is the hardest possible trading you can do. There are a handful of people in the world that can do this and be consistently profitable. I'm not one of them, which is why I don't do it. But I do it for prop because it's fun. But you're trading algorithmic chop that has got a 50-50 probability of going up and down. There's, if you look at Top Step, who this is with, and go and watch Top Step TV, they publish a list of the top 20 people for payouts and things. You see the guys at the bottom of that list, the 20s, the 30s, they're making not much money. Yeah, they've got hundreds of thousands of customers that have gone through Top Step. There are thousands tens of thousands of live traders on Top Step. Yet the top 20 that they publish, the guys at the bottom of that are making just enough to live on. The other 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 people, they're not making anything. Yeah, 0.1%, 0.1% will get a payout. Of that, less than half of that is actually going to get a payout consistently for more than 2 to 3 months. The rest of you, you're dead. Because you're trying to trade something that is algorithmically not going to work, because you're trading random price action with something you've backtested on price action that will never repeat in the future. Yeah. So it's saying, I know the result of every football match in the UK for the last 200 years. What's the result of the next one going to be? 5-0. That's not. You've got no idea because it hasn't happened yet. Same as way as if you go and look at every chart and you go, well, 9 times out of 10 it does this. You press the button and that's the time it doesn't, because it's never happened before. This CPI number that came out today has never been a 0.1 differential that's created a candlestick exactly that size. And all of these candlesticks afterwards have never happened before. So which way is this going now? No idea. No one has. But you get it wrong 3 to 4 times in a row, you will hit a limit that says, sorry, you can't have this account anymore. Please pay us another 200 and we'll give you another one so you can try again. So who's making the money? Prop. Every now and again, you'll get a payout which will pay for all the evaluation fees and all the activation fees and all the money you've spent on prop. You'll go, I've cracked it. And then you'll lose that account the next week and you'll be back to square one. I know a handful of people that have ever made money out of this long term. I'm one of them, but I stopped when my Forex funds disappeared because they were the people that paid me the money and they were crooked. So I don't have any faith in any of these companies anymore, but it's good fun to do. And I like to do it because you will get paid, and I do get paid. I took a $2,000 payout on the account before I blew it just before Christmas. But I took a $2,000 payout on it and I spent, what? I don't know, probably to, what was that, 1,500, 1,200 getting it, because I had to do multiple evaluations and then you have to pay an activation fee. When you've paid the activation fee, you then have to start the account. When you withdraw from the account, you then go to a point where if you have any drawdown at all, you lose the account, because if you trade it up to 3K in profit and then you take out 1,500, because you can't take out the whole 3 until you've been with it for 3 months. You can only take out half your money. You then are left with only a 1,500 drawdown. You had 3K, but now because you've drawn that out, you've only got 1,500. 3 bad trades, pop, there goes your account. But everybody in the US is obsessed with this. But they were all obsessed with binary options as well at one point. Then that turned out to be a scam as well. Sorry to be doom and gloom, David. I don't mean to be doom and gloom, but it's the real world. To set up your own copy service, does the main account, yours, have to be live? Yes. I'm with a broker that seems decent, but they are unregulated. Yeah. With PlexiTrade, you make me feel more comfortable with your comments there. Depends which ones you were listening to. PlexiTrade, never heard of them. St. Lucia. Can't see who they're regulated by. Well, they've got negative balance protection. So, I mean, that's as good as you're going to get. Basically, if you went long 200 contracts on the Swiss franc and it dumped, and it went so fast your stops didn't get honoured until it was 15,000 in drawdown, not a problem. That's important. If you're using a broker outside of your country, that is kind of like the holy grail, ideally, of what you want. But you won't know a broker is good until you've traded with them and you've seen what the spreads are like. You've seen how they manipulate price, because all brokers are out there to make money at the end of the day. They all have the same software out there that tells them how much money they make depending on the spread they apply to the price where it is right now. And it's how many of them use massive spreads to stop out positions way beyond price. And that you won't know until you use them. But yeah, I mean, I've never heard of these guys, but they don't look particularly worrisome. There's plenty of brokers around the St. Lucia area. I just can't see who they're regulated by. Normally it says regulated by... All information in this website is not directed towards soliciting citizens or residents of North Korea, UK, Syria, United States, Canada, or other jurisdictions that would be contrary to law and regulation. So basically, this is one of those brokers that says, we're not advertising to you because they're not allowed to. They've said on the website, we're not enticing you to come and join us if you're in these countries. But if you press the sign up button and you're in the UK and it lets you, it should come up with a message that says, you are using this website and our services at your own risk, blah, 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 blah. And you have to jump through all those hoops. But yeah, they look all right to me. That's what Forex say the same. Yeah. Yeah. This is turning into a pain in the backside today. Trying one more long on the NAS. So I got stopped out on that last one, but this is where we're buying. Previous high, resistance, turn, support. Unfortunately, now that's not going to get me to target, even if it goes, unless the DOW goes with it. In fact, I might add to the DOW. So if that DOW holds and we break, I'm just going to add more size. I'm literally being greedy to try and get this over the line today because I'm impatient. Brandon, set up your... Yeah, I've asked that one already. I agree, which is why I consider the copy service. I trade everything manually, which is clearly limiting. Adding diversification from a proven trader could work for both parties. Yeah. Yeah, it's all about learning, basically. So they're not big accounts, those ones which are the copy ones. So you can magnify it as much as you like, obviously. So when you use, and the reason I like the Forex, specifically the Forex copy trader system, is that you can copy anybody and you can decide on the actual amounts that you want to use. So you can either use the same leverage and everything that I'm using, or you can magnify mine, or you can reduce it as well. So but when you invest, when you click the invest button, it basically just gives you the option to copy. I think the default basically option is it just copies it exactly the same. So it takes your account and it takes my account, and basically your account will be bigger than mine probably because it's only it's running on a cent account basically, so it can simulate the right amount of risk basically. So if you've got a bigger account, it will just magnify all of the lots that I trade to the equivalent of yours. So it's using 0.25% risk over one ADR. So if you're on 50 grand account, for example, and this is a 25 grand account, it will double your lot size to what mine takes. Mine's taking 0.25% risk based on a 25 grand account. So it's nice in the fact that you can adjust it in that way. But then again, I don't know much about the others. They probably all can do that. Not really looked into them. Right, so I'm going to let this NAS run. Hopefully this is enough to get me over the line today. So that's 500. Let me adjust my TPs just so that I can see what I'm going to get away with. It's 2.9. No, it's not. It's 1900. Plus 600 equals more than 2.2. There we go. So if we can get the gap fills today, actually I'm going to add size to that, so I won't only need to get to there. But if I can get long breaks on these gap fills today, be done. But SIH today shouldn't have taken that off. We hit 3R target, which is there. We've done 4R, and if it does the gap fill, that was 5R today. So that was the wrong decision to make today on that manually. This one, obviously, there's my target on the DOW. So I'm looking for the DOW to gap fill, and then it will try an aggressive hedge exit to try and get out of that. But as it stands at the moment, there is no loss today there. The DAX, basically, I'm stuck in. Blimey, look at that. We just shot straight up to ADR, look. So basically, that CPI number has done a double ADR. Well, not a double ADR, but half of an ADR down. Now we've gone up an ADR. So, yeah. What a mess. So 125 ADR, we're at all-time highs basically here now. So 125 ADR is 5R to the upside from the opening range. So that is basically my upside target. If we do manage to get a push on up to there, it's going to try an aggressive exit up that level. So I will keep an eye on that one. How did you find out, Harold? The dashboard at the moment, how many people we got in here? 40. The dashboard is not meant to be on sale. It's on an offer price at the moment for members. And you're not a member, so you shouldn't have it at that price. But you can have it, obviously, because you bought it. But this evening, it's going up to normal price. Because I gave it to the members for 24 hours so they could get it for me and then test it and then give me some bugs before I rolled out the launch version. And now you've bought that version, which is fine because I've already fixed the bugs in it. But anyway, you know everything. So yeah, I haven't launched any videos on it yet. Mumo's bought it too, I know. Loophole. Right, members, one of you is a grass. I want to know which one it is. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's literally going to be $30 more expensive. So it's not going to hurt me financially. I'm not that worried. But anyway, we'll see. But yeah, I'll be launching the video this evening. I haven't got the page on the website done. I haven't done a manual. I haven't done anything yet. This is why I haven't said it's available, because obviously I haven't got any support documents or anything for it. So you have to feel your way through it. But I mean, to be honest, it's not exactly difficult, is it? Yeah. I think it's probably the easiest thing to understand. You put it up with all the default settings and it looks exactly like this. You can press these buttons and go, oh, look, the profit appears and disappears. Oh, look, that shows me my drawdown. Oh, look, that shows me how many lots I've got on. What does that do? It highlights things. That might be the only bit that you don't know about. And oh, look, the buttons appear. That X probably means close. That means 50. That means 25. What could that equate to? 50% or 25% of the position? If so, you're correct. This closes out the trade. That's pretty much it. It doesn't do a lot else, does it? So everything else in the inputs is pretty self-explanatory. So from a manual perspective, I'm going to try not writing a manual because I don't think there's anything in here personally that people would look at and go, I wonder what toggle button width means, and not actually just go, I'll tell you what, I'll double the size of it. Oh, it's them. It's not hard to work out, is it? So I'm probably not going to bother doing a manual, but I have done a video which explains what it does, and the video explains specifically that part because it's important. But other than that, it doesn't really do a lot else. So I hope you've had a good week. Yes, I've had a good week, thank you. I'm making money. It's a good week when I'm making money, basically. It was easy to mess with, yeah. Do you know what? There's so few. This is going to sound really bad. I'm not going to say it. No, it's not. It's not bad because it's a good thing. Men, not being sexist here, but men, we don't read manuals, do we? Right. So whenever we get anything new, what we do is we get it, we unbox it, and we go, and we do things with it. I'm assuming it's a phone. It's obviously not a phone always, but we do things with it. We play with it. With trading, that can be incredibly dangerous, pressing buttons without knowing what you're doing. But we do muck about with stuff all the time. And then we go, well, why does that do that? I don't understand what that does. Because, I don't know, obviously it's obvious. But then we go and read the manual if we can't figure something out. But as men, we try to figure stuff out first ourselves because it gives us the, yes, I cracked this feeling. Women read the manual first to figure out how it all works, to make sure that it's done right. So what I was going to say was 98% of the people that visit my website, and this is a statistic from Google Analytics, are men. So I know that when I write a manual, there's only 2% of the people out there that ever buy anything that I ever make that actually read the manual. And I can tell that by the number of views on the website, the number of sales, which isn't a lot of most of my products, and the number of people that visit the manual page. 250 people visit the manual page in 5 years for the market reversal alerts here. I've probably sold about 500, 700. I don't know how many I've sold, but I can guarantee it's not many people that read the manual. It's just the way we are. We are men. We just do things. And then we worry about the consequences after. What's this gun do? Oh, the trigger will fire a projectile. That's how it all started, wasn't it, in the Wild West? I don't call them instructions, I call them destructions. Exactly what I call them as well. Whenever we get an IKEA thing at home, it's, have you got the destructions? Because it isn't going to help me. I only look at the instructions when I've got something's gone wrong. So I'm putting a piece of furniture together from IKEA usually, and I put it all together, and then I go, where does this bit of wood go? Flick through the manual, page 2. Oh, that should have gone in right at the beginning. I'll take the whole thing apart. How many people have done that? You need to turn on the allow EA trading in order to close via the button. You do, Harold. Yes. Because it's an EA. That is one of the biggest questions I get asked. I've put the EA on my chart. It hasn't taken any trades. Have you got a smiley face in the corner? No, it's frowning. You haven't turned on auto trading yet. What's auto trading? Sorry, you've just bought an EA. Pretty much usually it's the position trader EA or the market reversal alerts EA. You've bought one of the most complex EAs on the market with the most inputs in the market, which requires you to understand what it's doing, why it's doing it, and how it's working for you to be able to use it. And you don't know how to press the auto trading button. Maybe go to baby pips first and come back in 3 years' time if you're still interested in trading because you've blown 3 accounts, and then we'll start talking about how to use EAs. That's usually my response, and it's not a pedantic response. It's a, what the hell are you doing putting something on a chart and you don't even know how to turn it on? Read the manual. I was there once though, so I'm not actually that bad now, but I'm just going to move this down, and I don't normally do this because I'm watching the NASDAQ holding. And I'm watching this level on the Dow, and I just realized my stops basically just encroached on it a little bit. I'm looking for this area here to hold. If we get some positive move on the NAS, I don't want to get stopped out and then go. I'm too tight with my stop losses today because it's a bit choppy. So you got to be a bit looser. It's not going now. It's going to be one of those days where I'm going to end up break even, isn't it? ChatGPT can do 60% in the manual with the right inputs. Can it? I'll try that. I don't. The trouble is, if I use something like that to write the manual, I'm still going to have to read the manual and then rewrite the manual because the 40% that it can't do, I'm going to have to write properly, and the bits that it's got wrong, I'm going to have to rewrite anyway. So to me, it's actually just faster just to write it. Quickly buy it while the loophole exists. Yeah, it's not a loophole. You've just found it on the marketplace, haven't you? Without, or somebody's told you it's out there. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I don't care. It's the worst when you have it fully built and there is a spare part like a spare screw and you just look. Yeah, I know. I've done that as well. Yeah. Normally that screw ends up in my toolbox and then I end up with the same screw multiple times for multiple pieces of furniture. So they obviously just put the extra things in there that you're never going to need. How come you don't position trade indices long only? If it almost always the market ends up higher than the previous year, because of the volatility. So you can do. The problem is so the problem is when we go into a bear market, which we don't often go into bear markets, but that month there, for example, that month there and that month there, you take quite a lot of drawdown. So yeah, I mean, there is an argument for literally just continuously buying the dips, which is basically what Warren Buffett does. So Warren Buffett's strategy is the one that I've got on the market reversal alerts EA. It's on this one here, down here. So this strategy basically is using M15, and it's basically Warren Buffett's strategy. So all he does is he buys RSI dips, or used to. I mean, pretty sure he would have been not killed, but in the bear market we've just had for over a year, he'll have been hurting. But literally just buy RSI dips on a higher time frame like hourly or 4 hourly, and then take reversals, take market reversal alerts or moving average crosses, whatever you want to use as a signal to go long when you've got an extended condition on the RSI, and make sure you space your trades out nicely. So if you space out roughly half an ADR to an ADR, you'll be fairly safe. So if we look at ADR on the Dow at the moment, which is currently 52, this move here was 272. So that is 5.25 ADR. So if you'd have got in, probably, I mean, it has to drop for you to get in. So let's say there, you've missed probably 1.5, 2 ADR. So anticipate going somewhere between 3 to 5 ADR into drawdown on your very first position every time you take it. That is fairly safe. So the spacing is up to you. Obviously, the closer the spacing, the more size you get on, and when it goes, the more money you make. The further the spacing, the less size you have on, and the less drawdown you have. So it's a personal preference as to how you get in, but you've got to survive 5 ADR. Sometimes it's going to go more than that. Yeah. So this move here, for example, oh no, that's only 330. Oh, that's 280. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. So 330. So that is 6, 7 ADR roughly. Yeah. But the problem occurs when you look at the bear market. Yeah, so you're going initially, you would have bought this, obviously with rallying, this is where the bear market started. So you'd have bought it somewhere in here, and you'd have gone down somewhere in the region of 6R, and then it pulled back. The problem is you wouldn't have got out there, because in a bull market, which is indices always, virtually always, it's going to break the high, isn't it? Every time. That's the point. We're going high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And we're going to continue to do this. Stopped out on the indices. So yeah, here, you wouldn't have taken profit there. You'd have been in profit because you'd have bought, and it had done that. But you'd have been looking to get out here. By the time you've identified, holy crap, we've just put a lower low in, you are now in another position. So at this point here, you have to assume a lower high and take profit on all of those there. Once that's happened to you a couple of times, and because I used to run this strategy as a pension fund, when you've done this a couple of times, you lose faith in the strategy, and it takes a lot for it to convince you that we're back in a bull market. And by the time it has, you've missed half the bull market. So it's actually not a very, it looks really easy on paper, but executing it is actually not that simple. If you go and if you use the market reversal alerts EA or the position trader EA and just set it up on an RSI extension of say 30 or any RSI, but I mean a 30's fairly good. You want to use a fairly fast RSI as well, like a 14 default basically, and just get it to buy those dips and scale in half an ADR apart and set it to long only, and just run it over the last decade on any index, and you will see max drawdown. Set it with something like a 0.1 lot size so that it will just continuously buy. It won't blow the account, but you will see what the maximum drawdown you achieve is on your account. This is one of the reasons that banks and institutions, hedge funds, not hedge funds as much, pension funds will draw down into their portfolio by anything up to 30 to 40%. So, you know, when we sit here in position trading going into 15% drawdown, people are like, you're nuts. I'm like, you think I'm nuts? Go and work in a pension fund. They won't be in 15. They'll be in 35% of drawdown, yeah? Because they know what's coming. Because half of their portfolio is in here, half of it's in oil, half of it's in gas, half of it's... Blah, blah, blah. But they are only buying long-only instruments most of the time in pension funds. Pension funds got killed here, yeah? You will get killed here. So what they do is they run statistical analysis and they analyze max drawdown over a period of time, give it a variation or deviation, which is kind of like a Bollinger Band, yeah? So a standard deviation up and down. And when they're anticipating their fund's performance, they use the standard deviation based on past performance. This we've never had before, ever. We've never had a bear market that big. We just had one. This is all caused by COVID. We've never had a bull market as big as this either. This was caused by COVID, yeah? So this and this are anomalies, and this lasted over 2 years. This is the first time we've gone back in... I've just flipped short on the Dow. Okay. Fine, I'll go short on the Dow. I had a trailing pending on, didn't I? So is this a pullback? Or is it a long? Because this is where I want to buy it. I'm $400 down on the day now. Look, I can't get one on today that's just going the right way. So this is the original propulsion gap. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to reduce my risk down ever so slightly. I'm going to buy one there, and I'm going to buy one on the break. And then I'm going to add on the break again. Yeah. So I'm giving myself a load of wiggle room in this propulsion gap, buying it here. If we break that high, I'm going to buy it again. If we break that high, I'm going to buy it again. I'm going to go for that gap and try and get back to break even for the day. Other than that, I'm done, because it's just been bad structure today. Anyway, what was I saying? Completely similar. Yeah, so this bull market and this bear market, this is the first time we've got back to kind of normality. You've just had one of the biggest drawdowns we've had in the last year and a half. Yeah, in the run up to Trump. Now Trump's in, we've got one of the biggest bull rallies we've had in a year and a half. So it's possibly the time you want to start running this strategy again. Because the last time Trump was in, it did rally a lot. So, yeah. But it's a real long-term burner. Yeah. So it's the sort of thing you are just going to be in, and you're going to be in it for weeks at a time. So it's kind of, this is why I said I was running it on my pension fund, because it's the sort of thing I can outperform the S&P 500. It's not hard to outperform 8% a year. Yeah. On anything. If somebody said to me, I want you to make me 10% a year, I could probably sneeze and make them 10% a year. It's making 10% a month, which is the hard thing. Yeah. So outperforming the S&P, which on average is 8% a year, is actually very easy. If you just keep buying the dips, you will outperform it. And that's what Warren Buffett's done. That's how he's made his billions in the past. So it's a good strategy. But don't expect it, unless you've got 100 grand in the bank, don't expect it to return you more than 10 to 15, 20 grand maximum a year, unless you get in aggressive. But if you get in really aggressive and we do end up going back into a bear market for any reason, you will lose the account, because you'll be too aggressive and you won't be able to survive the bear market. But you will always have an opportunity in a bear market to get an exit as well, because every time there's a bear move, there's a bull move to take profit on the bear move. That's what market structure is. That's all it does. It moves up and down in market structure. The degree of pullback in structure is random, because it depends how many of those sellers are looking to take profit on the leg they've just made money on. And it could be roughly a third, it could be roughly a half, it could be roughly 3/4. You don't know which of them it's going to be. But if you buy here, buy here, buy here, and buy here, when they do take the profit, your average price, worst case scenario, if the lot size is identical, is going to be a 50% retracement on the leg that they've just made money on, and you will get out at break even when they do the opposite. The problem you have is swaps. It costs money to long indices. They will eat your profits. Yeah, they're not stupid markets. There's always a way they're making money out of you. So yeah, that's the downside is swap costs. So if you look at the swap costs on the S&P, for example, swap long is 980. So you're paying 980 to hold overnight on a contract. If you short it, they'll pay you. But if you know what they're saying is, you want to short it? All right, good luck, mate. We'll give you money, because they're expecting to take it away from you. Not as easy. Nothing as easy as it sounds in trading at all. We wish. I'd say that's skill, to be honest. What, putting together IKEA furniture? Everything is skill. Everything is skill, and everything is luck. You know, this account, yeah. Look at that day, 2.5 grand. Do you know why that's? Do you know why that 2.5 grand's there? Trump. Nothing to do with skill. The skill was, I entered a trade with a risk amount that, if the market went against me, I was comfortable with. The luck was Trump opening his mouth while I was in that trade. All trading is part skill, part luck. Yeah, you can get in, you can be the best analyzer of market structure in the world. Yeah, but when you analyze market structure, every time it pulls back to here, the odds are still 50-50. And it may well do that. And being able to identify that you shouldn't be trading here, that's the skillful part, because the direction is nothing to do with you. This is the thing. It's timing, luck, and partly skill, all of it. But most of all, it's risk management. And this is why position trading is so good, because the skill, if you like, and the luck is removed from the entire process. I am looking on this particular account, on the Zone Trader account, I am looking at areas I've seen price move from. That's as skillful as it gets. So I was looking at this area here to sell it, and I have. It's pushed above it, and now it's back down there. This movement is random market movement created by banks and institutions. If I was an idiot trader, I would have gone short here, as I did, and I'd have put a stop loss here, and I would now be losing money. Because I'm a clever trader, I don't use a stop loss, and I don't lose money. But if it pushes up here, I know where it's going, because it's always going to do the same thing. It's going to find areas where banks and institutions have sold and bought in the past. This is the skillful part. Not identifying this is where it's going to turn, identifying that there's a probability it will turn, and then identifying where the next place it's probable it will turn is. Whether it does or not is luck. Because when we get to this point that in the past the banks were selling at, I will either be lucky in that the banks are selling there again, or I'll be unlucky that there are no banks selling at that level anymore. In which case then I will then need to see if the banks are going to sell at the previous level they sold at last time. When we get there, I will either be lucky in that there are more banks there than there were that were there the last time, or there isn't, and it's going to go through it. But that's nothing to do with its skill. Anybody can go find the high or the low of a previous week, draw a line, and place an order. There's no skill involved in that. It's just basically, if I gave this to my 15-year-old son and say, I want you to, every time you see a spike, I want you to draw a line on a spike. Yeah. And I'll tell him to draw lines by going right click, trading, sell limit. That's how he's going to draw his lines. And I'm pretty sure he'd make money. Because it's random. When it hits that level, it is either going to do one or two things, isn't it? But news, if you're in the trade in the right direction as the news hits, that isn't skill, because news is random. Yeah, whether a CPI number comes out positive or negative, the market does not know. The market moves based on that data, and the luck involved is whether you've got the right direction. Yeah, you're not skillful in the fact that you went, I'm going to short it today because I think the CPI is coming out lower than expected. It either is or it isn't. But there's no skill in predicting the future because you can't do it. The way it works, isn't it? Luck. There is a lot of luck. And this is why prop is making so much money. This is why prop firms are so wealthy, because they are feeding off of you thinking you can crack something that is uncrackable. They know the statistics. They know that if you've got a strike rate of 60% on your strategy, you're going to lose 4 trades in a row. If you risk 1%, you're going to lose 4 grand. This target is set at 3. Therefore, you lose. Okay, well, I'll risk half as much. Okay, that means you can survive twice as long, but you're still going to get a losing run. And the losing run is still going to take away all your profits. And that is going to make you go full tilt. And that is going to make you blow your account. Rinse and repeat. It's the same. It will always be the same. We're human beings. We cannot handle loss. There's a few people that are immune to it. But there's just, this time frame is a killer. Absolute killer. Your son, the baby goat, should continue the stream once you become elderly and retire. Yes. He's not interested at all. He's interested in traveling. He's not interested in becoming anything to do with this at all. I did teach him to trade one summer holidays. That's how boring it was. I taught him to trade. And you know what I said to him? Press the buy and the sell button. And then when it's green, take the money. And when it's red, wait. And do you know what? He made money. Never looked at a chart in his life. Didn't even know what the buttons did. No idea what's moving up and down? Absolutely no idea at all. Random. Flip a coin 10 times. Bet you can call heads more than half. That's how you make money. Anyway, I'm waffling now because I'm waiting for this thing to do something. We are literally stuck today. So I'm not holding up much hope for much at all, to be honest, today. It's just one of those days where the market is all over the place and you either got the timing right or you didn't. If you didn't get the timing right, tough. It's a tricky day. So there's nothing much else here to take. The pound US dollar, I keep looking at it thinking I'm going to take it. But it's kind of just done the V-shaped recovery and I'm still thinking short against the dollar. So we'll see what happens. We've got news tomorrow for the pound. We've got the GDP coming out tomorrow morning. So what I will probably do tomorrow morning is before the news comes out, I will have a look at the account and decide whether or not to take some partials on it. So which now I can do very, very easily by just pressing that little button there. So anything that is nice and green, I will bank on the pound potentially tomorrow just to make sure it's in the bank. And then obviously if it goes my way, the rest of it becomes profit. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to build this dash is for news to make sure you can just instantly go, right, let's just get rid of everything green ahead of the news. And shall we do some removing red while we're at it? Yeah, so it's really useful in that respect. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. Right, I'll leave it there. I'm going to hold this long. So literally last trade of the day. I'm either going to lose 500 and go down $1,000 on the day, which is not the end of the world. Or NAS is going to completely fill the gap, in which case I will move this stop up in $500 increments as we add size and just see if I can get back to positive on the day. But bit of a tricky one today. This is prop. Annoying, isn't it? Right, so I'll be back tomorrow for the member stream. I haven't actually got anything for the member stream planned yet, so if you are a member, we'll do something tomorrow. I'm not quite sure what we're doing yet, but we will do something tomorrow. So I'll put something in the members section about that. Other than that, I'm back on Friday morning, and we'll go through a review of the week and look at basically what's happened for the week. Not a lot. Excuse me. That's the sneeze that was building up at the beginning of the stream. Not a lot else after tomorrow. Once the PPI figures are out and we've had the CPI, we've just got retail for the US on Friday. So we'll do a review of the week on Friday morning and we'll see where we are. All right. So have a good day. Anything you need, let me know. Other than that, I'll be back tomorrow if you're in member stream. If not, I'll be back on Friday. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Have a good day.